Today we will be building an epic battle between two LEGO armies. On the battlefield, the Urdu army will face off, consisting of trolls, orcs, goblins and other vile creatures, and the Empire of Light army. These are knights, dwarves, paladins and other warriors of light. The leader of the first army is Zorgul Libki, the mighty leader. He rules the southern swamps, therefore I made a royal staff for him. Now I will build a sturdy platform for him from which he will give orders to his loyal soldiers. And these amphibians with long sharp fangs will become the royal guards. For the first squad I am using minifigures from the Ninjago series and figures from the Castle series. This will be a squad of berserker trolls, the strongest infantry in the Urdu army. They will attack right in the middle of the battlefield, supported by the powerful and magical troll shaman. She is clad in a mystical wolf pelt and has several various and unique totems that enhance the attributes of her allies. Another powerful combat unit is the big wild troll. Indeed, it's like a tank from the fantasy world. I will place him in the very center where he will break through the ranks of enemy soldiers. Here will definitely be a squad of Cyclops, the weakest infantry of the Urdu army, on the battlefield. Their task is to take on the enemy's attack so that other units can strike from the flank. On the sides I will place two massive large ogres, and above them flies the mighty Wind Conqueror. This is a shaman on a pterodactyl, dropping clay bombs with poison on the enemy. On the other hand, the center is occupied by a squad of dwarves of the northern mountains. These are experienced and fearless infantrymen who fight to their last breath. This is absolutely the most diverse unit in the Army of Light, and one of my favorites. For them, I used cool custom helmets, and I also assembled a few dwarf commanders. In the future, each of them will definitely command their own squad. Right after the dwarves stands a unit of heavily armored infantry. These are the most experienced and strongest infantrymen of the Army of Light. Together these units form an iron fist that can break through any enemy formation. On either side of this fist are two cohorts of lighter infantry strategically positioned. Each cohort consists of a standard bearer who directs the movement of the formation with a horn, a squad commander who leads the cohort, pikemen with long spears in the front row, and light infantry with short swords in the second row. At the head of the infantry stands the army commander. If the enemy army is small, while the central fist prevents the opponent from advancing, the side cohorts extend their spears and trap the enemy in a pincer. If the enemy is too large, the cohorts turn their spears outward, preventing the enemy from striking the flanks. And from the flank, a squad of steppe orcs can indeed strike. They are equipped with light armor, making them fast and maneuverable. For them, I am using orcs from the Lord of the Rings and from the 24th series of LEGO minifigures. There is also an orc scout here. He is leading the squad of experienced fighters. And one incredibly powerful orc sorcerer who uses various dark spells and dangerous witchcraft. Commanding the left flank will be Gorgot the Snake Squeezer. On his shoulder he wears armor made from the head of a defeated snake. In one hand, Gorgot holds a massive flail, and on the other, he has long battle claws. I also used Gollum. In my fantasy world, he is a goblin miner. Usually, such units of extraordinary power are typically used by the sorcerer for sacrifices, but now he will be serving Gorgot the Soul Snatcher. I think this version of Gollum is definitely better than the new one. It looks more like what we saw in the movie. On the other flank, I placed a squad of swift-step centaurs and equally fast young velociraptors. They may still be children, but they are already the size of a full-grown warrior. The main threat on this flank is indeed the Desert Crater. It is the largest unit in the Urdu army. It is very capable of swallowing a person whole. Only an entire squad of pikemen or a large ballista can handle it. The battle mechanisms are a particular pride of the Empire of Light. Its army includes both a large ballista and smaller dwarf bolt throwers, which provide protection against aerial targets and various ogres and other threats. This army also has its own formidable monster, the Snow Giant, a truly fearsome creature. In normal times, the dwarves of the northern mountains fight against yetis and giants. but now they have captured one to use during the battle. This entire army is commanded by Emperor Numerius Lumius III himself. He is accompanied by a squad of highly elite and well-trained mounted knight guards, and the commander of the Imperial Guard. I don't have many crossbowmen yet, so I placed their unit behind the infantry. From there, they will cover the soldiers from aerial attacks from above. As a reserve, I will leave the warriors of the Paladin Order. They are the strongest warriors in the Empire. They use the incredible power of light in their epic battles, and they also move on majestic flying griffins. But I have very few of them, so I will deploy the Paladins to the places where breaches in the formation occur. And healing the wounded with the power of light will be a pastor from the Temple of the Star of Argaris. The Urdu army also has goblin archers. There aren't many of them yet, but they are still very dangerous because they use a huge triceratops, having built a wooden defensive tower on its back. In addition to arrows, the enemy squad can also be attacked by the triceratops itself, as it has long and dangerous horns on its head. I also used other dinosaurs for this army. Indeed. Swamp trolls riding fierce velociraptors have become an incredibly fast, strong and powerful combat unit. A squad of such riders circles around the enemy army and attacks from the rear. It is for such situations that they need a strong and maneuverable reserve squad. But to make the battlefield more interesting, I added a few more various decorations and natural obstacles made of rocks and ruins. Write in the comments below which army you think will become the ultimate victor in this battle. We shall see which side gets the most votes, and therefore,